Hey, I got a little bit of a Valentine's story. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And it has a theme to it. Okay, let go of fear. Okay, you must let go of fear. Because fear does nothing to you but stand in your way of everything that you want, all your dreams and hopes. So, this gentleman, his name is Alexander, stepped in my car and I gave him a ride. I drive for Uber. And he was telling me about his wife. He goes, he's 84 years old, and he says, I love my wife so much. So much. And the way he said it with passion, I just love her. And I said, that's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome for you to express yourself like that at that age. Nothing wrong with your age. I said, but you rarely hear people talk like that. He said, look, Marvin, let me tell you something. Yeah, go ahead, Alexander. Just, go ahead. He said, look, when I met my wife, Marjorie, she was 19 and well, I had already known her for like 3 years, but I could never tell her that I loved her. She's the daughter of a faraway uncle because, my faraway uncle, he was actually a distant cousin from my dad's. And we used to go to his ranch in Texas and, ride the horses and stuff. And, that's when I met Marjorie. And, Marjorie was so beautiful. Every time she talked, it was just music to my ears. Her smile was gorgeous. Her eyes, her skin tone, her hair. She had long hair. Oh, man. And her hands were so soft. And I'd always help her get on the horse. And, I'd touch her hands and stuff. And it was just so amazing. But right before I came back to Boston for that summer, she was 19 and we were supposed to go to the movies and maybe dinner in a movie, back then. And I said, yeah, I'll be right back. And I had made up my mind. I was going to tell her that I loved her and I really wanted to. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to marry her. Maybe it was going to be too quick, but I wanted to make that jump, that move, because that's exactly how I felt. I didn't want to spend any minute without her. And so I went and I put some of my dad's Davidoff cologne, and I had bought some roses. And right before we got to her house, there was a little bush there, and I stuck the roses by the bush, and I went to go knock on the door. And just as she opened the door, she looked so gorgeous, amazing. She had like this pink dress that went to her knees, and she just looked so casual and gorgeous. And she said, "What's wrong? You got this pale look on your face. What's wrong?" And I swear I opened my mouth, but nothing would come out. I had all this fear, and I was gasping for air. And she said, "Don't you even think about it, all right? Don't ruin the moment. Don't ruin. We're gonna go have fun. We're gonna have dinner. We're gonna have a movie. Don't you say anything stupid now. We're just gonna go and have fun." And that's all she needed to say. When I said, "I'll be right back, all right? Hold on a second. I'll be right. Go back inside. I'll be right back." And I ran. I turned around. I ran, and I just couldn't come back. And I ran across, and I went around the little corner, and I grabbed the roses. And just as I grabbed them with a big jolt, the thorns went into my hand, and I just ran home. And I found the nearest trash can, and I threw the roses into a trash can, and I went home, and I cried, and I cried, I cried. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't. I had this deep fear, and I couldn't go back and explain it either. And the next day I had to take a flight, and I came back to Boston, and it was tremendous for me. It was depressing. We didn't have cell phones back then, back in those years. And, I never told my dad. I never told anybody. And obviously she probably got upset. She got angry. She never called back either. So I went on with my life, and I got married, and I also got divorced. Time went by, and I had a daughter, one of my daughters, and it was just amazing. And I was doing well financially. The money wasn't an issue. I was so good at what I did, and I wish I had the same courage for everything, but it was just one area that I was good at. It was just numbers and business, and everything else I would fear. I wouldn't take trips. I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go out to dates, or I wouldn't talk to anybody else. And it was just always this fear that just coupled me down. And that same daughter, he said, "Dad, you look so depressed. I just can't see you like this, and I got a present for you. I got you a trip. You're going to go to France, and be in Paris a couple of days, and then jump on a cruise. It's gonna come across the Atlantic and through the Caribbean, and then you're gonna land in Florida, and then you can fly back up to Boston. And I said, I can't do that. I'm not good with people. I'm not good by myself, and you're not gonna go. And Dad, you have to do it. I already paid for it. You have to do it. Just take it. And I said, fine, fine. And I didn't want to go. I actually wanted to fake it, but my daughter had already paid for it, and I didn't want to give her the shame of not taking that trip. So I took it. Little did I know, Marjorie was living in France in that moment. She had gone to Europe. She had had two kids, and her husband was awful bad to her. She'd gotten a divorce. She was working in a law firm, and her boss was supposed to take a trip on that same voyage, on that same cruise. And he couldn't. He had a business trip. And he gave the ticket to her. Isn't that fate? That's amazing. So here I am opening my room, and I go inside and I get ready and I come back out and I say, I'm going to have some brunch, I'm going to have some lunch, and I come back out, and just as I come back out, I see a woman that resembles something like her, and I couldn't put my mind to it. I couldn't guess, but she looked so amazing, and I started walking faster because I wanted to catch up, and she started walking faster. She kind of actually ran a little bit, and she got lost in the crowd, and I said, it doesn't matter. She came out from the room in front of mine. I'll catch up to her eventually. And we went to the buffet, and we didn't know, but I started eating, and I couldn't eat that much because I had that in my mind, but from far away, I think I saw her again, and I started noticing that she was by herself and I was by myself, and I said, hey, do I know this lady or not? And finally I saw her get up and go get another plate, and even though mine was full, I got up and I ran over there, and I walked and I grabbed another plate, and I went right next to her, and I said, hey, do I know you? For some odd reason, that fear had gone away. Thank you, Lord. And she said, Alexander, is that you? And I said, Marjorie, what are you doing here? For some odd reason, I thought maybe my daughter had something to do with it. And she goes, she explained to me about her boss and that she got a ticket. It was a surprise, last minute. And I said, where are you? Where are you sitting? Are you sitting over there? May I sit with you? And she goes, yeah, why not? And it was just music to my ears, so much joy to know that she was not resentful. She wasn't thinking about the day I ran away like a coward, and I quickly went and got my stuff and my sports coat and my other plate, and she noticed that my plate was full, and she noticed that I had gone over there to grab another empty plate just to talk to her. And we laughed, and I said, I had to ask you because I saw you coming out of the room almost in front of mine. And she goes, yeah, you're right. Well, I was running away too because it seemed like you were chasing me. And I gotta be honest, I wanted to find out who you were. So we talked and we ate and we drank wine. It was just amazing, and we cried together, and it was just remembering old memories and old thoughts. And I said, you know what? I said, let's get out of here. Let's go do something fun. And she said, yes. And I couldn't believe it. We had like 9 days to go, and it was just awesome. And we walked to the deck because the casino was loud, and the other area had a band, and the other area was like a bar. And we walked to the deck, and it was just so majestic. The sky was beautiful. Must have been 1 million stars out there in the middle of the Atlantic, and it was just so gorgeous. It felt like a view from like the Titanic or something. And I said, it's so cold. And I gave her my coat, and I said, hey, you know what? It's actually cold out here. It's beautiful, it's majestic, but I'm not sleepy. Do you want to go drink some tea or something? Yeah, let's go in. And we had a coffee maker in each room, and we started boiling water, and we took out the teas, and we started talking, and before we know it, we were kissing. And I told her, and I explained to her what had happened that night, and I told her, I'm sorry, but I've always loved you. I've always loved you ever since I saw you. Ever since you were 16, I've always been madly in love with you. And today just rekindled it. I still love you. I know it. I can feel it in my heart. And she said, you're so silly. Like, why didn't you tell me anything? I've always liked you, but I always acted out, and I always decided to play like a little tom girl and push you away because that's what girls do. Oh my God, really? Oh God, this is so amazing news that I know this now. And Alexander said, believe me, Marvin, it was amazing. Those 9 days were the most amazing. We literally had our honeymoon before we got married, because the moment we got off the boat, we ran and we got married, and we didn't tell anybody, and it doesn't matter because we were doing it for us, and we were in love, and we lived the passion. And the daughter I just came to visit right now is our daughter. She's 30 years old, and it was just so amazing to see her right now. And just last night, my daughter was dancing with her husband, she dances and walks and talks and almost does everything just like my Marjorie. And I said, that's great. That's awesome. What a story. Thank you for sharing that with me. Yeah, he said, oh, man, I love my Marjorie. I just love her. And I said, well, speaking of Marjorie, like, why are we going to the airport and you're by yourself? Like, he said, I'll tell you something. I buried her 6 months ago. Oh my God, really? Yes. But I'm not sad. I feel her with me. I feel that energy. And let me tell you something. This is what I'm happy about. The last 6 years of her life were the most amazing 6 years of mine. 6.5 years ago, Marjorie was diagnosed with cancer, and the doctor said she was only going to live maybe a year. At the most, a year and a half. Maybe stretching it 2 years. But I did it my best every day to get up and to be forceful and to be happy and to give her joy and to make breakfast and to feed her the most nutritious food and to watch stuff that was funny and to cuddle and to kiss and to tell her that I loved her. It was the most amazing time. Every minute I spent with her, every minute of pure love, energy, and I helped to bathe her and I helped to clean her and I changed her and I fed her and I treated her like my queen that she really is. Oh my God, that's so beautiful, Alexander. That's so beautiful. Yes, it was amazing. And when the night she passed, she didn't want to go. The doctor pulled me aside and he said, she's blinking her eyes a little bit, but she doesn't want to go, but she should really go. She's not meant to be here. She's really very deteriorated. And so I'm going to give her some more morphine, but you should go tell her it's okay. And that's exactly what I did. I went over there and I got her ready and I told her some stories and I sang to her like I always did every night and I kissed her and I told her I would always love her. And I hugged her. As I hugged her and I fell asleep, literally almost with her, I woke up to the sound of the machine going flatlining. I gotta tell you something. A lot of those nurses came in there, unplugged the machines and everything, and I walked away and those nurses were crying, but I wasn't. I wasn't, because that energy that she was, the energy that she is still with me, and it was with me that day. It was probably hugging me in that moment and gave me the strength, the same strength I'm giving me right now to tell you this story. Wow, Alexander, what a story. That's amazing. Yes, Marvin, so you're taking me to the airport right now. If I could leave you with a theme, it's just forget about fear. Put it aside. Fear just stands in your way of everything that you want. And sometimes, like in my case, it was the most amazing thing in my life and I had to wait an extra 30 years to have it. And yes, the universe brought it back, but why wait when I can just put the fear away and have it immediately? Conquer your dreams. Because I know I conquered mine. It's never too late. And Marjorie, well, she'll always be with me. And I always love her. Happy Valentine's Day.